Hello friends! Today I want to talk about a very important topic, and that is to doula or not doula. For those of you who don't know what a doula is, the word doula was derived from a Greek term, handmaiden or mother's helper. So a doula is, easily put, just continuous support for a mother and her partner during labor. When I was pregnant the first time, I knew I was going to be having my daughter at a birth center surrounded by midwives, and so I thought, well, do I really need to have a doula? And then the second time, as some of you have probably seen from our other videos, we planned on a hospital birth. Turned out to be a bathroom at my house birth. But I had a doula. I decided to have a doula for both births. The first one, even though I was going to be with midwives, I decided that I wanted to have someone who was going to be completely dedicated to just, well, me and my husband, and just making sure that we had support, and that if Steve needed to get up and use the bathroom, that I wasn't going to wig out because I felt alone, or I was dealing with a contraction or whatever. So we hired a woman named Cindy. She was amazing. She has a number of kids, most of which were delivered at home, she and her husband. So she has a lot of experience in the kind of the natural home birth realm. So I felt like she would be a good person to have on the team. Plus, I really liked her. We had done a birthing class with her, so she was a really sweet lady. So probably the greatest thing that she gave to us was just her calm nature. She gave us suggestions. If I was having a particularly hard contraction, she said, well, hey, maybe try this position or try that position or whatever. Back rubs, putting a cold cloth on my head. I mean, literally, she was there the entire time, just a calm presence. Which was great. The second time we hired a doula, her name was Mariah, and unfortunately we didn't, well, fortunately maybe, I guess, we didn't make it to the hospital, so Mariah didn't actually we didn't have her for the entire meal deal, I guess you could say. But when Steve called my parents and called Mariah and told them that it was going to be happening at our house, Mariah arrived, and she shimmied her way right into our little tiny bathroom, got herself up right behind me as I was leaned back on the bathtub, and got my hair out of my face, rubbed my cheek, told me I was doing great. And I actually told her later that it was huge. It was huge to have that support, because Steve was doing a great job being supportive, as he was also taking direction from the 911 dispatchers on how to help me have this baby. So he was very encouraging. And of course my parents arrived as well, which was nice to know that they were in the house. But to have Mariah right behind me, holding on to me, kind of rubbing my shoulders, keeping my hair out of my face, encouraging me as I was pushing, telling me I was doing a great job. That kind of continuous support, whether or not it was for 10 minutes or 10 hours, it's important, I think, to have that person dedicated to you, to being your champion during that time frame. I wanted to make sure that I say this too. A doula is someone who's going to be there for you. Now, that doesn't mean that if you have family close by that you don't want to have them there as well, or maybe you don't want to have them, I don't know. I have a great relationship with my mom, and she's been there. I've been fortunate enough to have her there with me for both births. However, I wanted to have her there, but her function in my mind was mostly just emotional support, hold my hand, prayer warrior. But as far as having someone there to do the cold washcloth and maybe make phone calls for me if I needed to, or in the hospital if I had needed, a little bit of interfacing between the staff and myself or whatever, that was the point of having the doula, as someone that was just going to be there the entire time and kind of helping me out. But for those of you that may not have family close by or aren't interested in having your family with you, which is okay too, you're the mama, you choose who you have in the room with you. Don't ever be bullied by anyone to force their way into the delivery room or the birth center with you. This is your birth, so make sure the people you have in there with you are the ones you want, because it's vital. So, but if you don't have anyone that you want in there with you, consider hiring a doula. There is an article, it's a Cochrane Review article for those of you that might like a more scientific approach to this whole doula thing. But I found it kind of interesting that in this article it talks about they had, I forget how many women there were quite a few, but they did a bunch of reviews, and they polled a bunch of different women. And it talked about how having a doula, or I guess I should say in this article they referenced it as a person who provided continuous support, which could have been your mom, your doula, your sister, whoever, as long as it was a person providing continuous support. Anyway, they found, or this article basically found through their research, that those women who had someone providing continuous support were happier with the outcome. There were less interventions. Those women didn't need pain medication, or fewer chose that option because they felt like they didn't need it. There wasn't a need for an assist. It was the woman was more likely to spontaneously have a vaginal birth versus a cesarean or forceps or vacuum. So all in all, the review basically says that having someone who's there to provide you continuous support is a good deal, and it's going to help you have a happier outcome. And I know for sure that was the case for me. So I'm definitely glad that we had doulas. I would do it again if I were going to have another baby, but I'm not. So yeah, anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you all have a great day. If you like our videos, go ahead, click subscribe. That way you can be notified when we upload more videos, which we'll continue to do. Hope you all are doing really well. Thanks for watching. Bye.